Let me just talk generally about mentoring and what we know about mentoring. To understand that there are two types of mentoring. We talk about informal mentoring and the formal mentoring. And the formal mentoring is really that type of mentoring that you engage in probably at your institution, that you set up almost a contract. And sometimes it's not a written contract, but it's sort of an informal contract that you have regarding the degree that you have agreed to enter into a relationship, and both parties kind of understand that. There's certainly informal mentoring that happens a lot as well. Okay. In terms of what we know, in terms of people who have written about it, that there are two primary functions of mentors, and that is goal attainment of the mentee, and that's your academic career, your relationship, and then also there's also psychosocial and support functions that are critical to that as well, and you need both in order to kind of, I think, take advantage of the mentor-mentee relationship. One of the things that we look at, we talk about this whole idea of psychosocial support. We don't really know a lot about that from a research standpoint, but we know it happens a lot. That when you're looking at a mentor, there's some complex factors that from a research standpoint we have not really kind of looked at. Like, what do you mean and how do you deal with many of these issues regarding friendship? There is something about when you enter into a relationship, there's a point where if you have an excellent mentor, it kind of feels like a friendship. You don't necessarily want to call it a friendship, but at the end of the day, it feels like, and if it looks like it, it's probably friendship. And you have to deal with what that means and how you view that person within that context. Always issues of power for the most part in that relationship. That power issue is always there. And it's always something that you have to consider. No matter how the relationship changes, power is always there. There's respect, and it should be mutual respect that you have for one another. Issues of authority and admiration, these kinds of things are critical to developing a long-lasting kind of mentee-mentor relationship. And one of the things that happens is that when you enter into these relationships, well, pretty much they're like lifelong relationships. They're like marriages, and they go on and on and on. And I remember I'm at an institution that's not a PhD granting institution, and so students get their masters and they leave and they go on and get their PhDs. And I remember the day that my daughter graduated from college. She graduated from North Carolina A&T. I went to her graduation. At the end of the day, I came back to Durham, and I was at a function in which one of my mentees had having a graduation kind of party for receiving it from UNC, from Carolina. And I happened to be in the room, and she had friends, and they're all friends, so they kind of came through the system together. And I'm looking around, and there are six ladies in the room, and they have their PhDs. And at one point, they were either undergraduates or graduate students with me, and now 6, 7 years later, they're in this room, and it's really the whole day, from the graduation of my daughter to going to that reception, was extremely powerful experience. But you follow them through their careers, you follow them through their marriages, through their relationships, through their kids, and it all becomes so much a part of your life. And so I think that's what mentorship is all about.